Hi, I'm crossing guard Tim, and today we're here to give you a few rules about how to cross the street on the UConn campus or wherever you're at on campus. Remember these rules, and you will also be street smart. So the first word to our campaign is street, and what street stands for is stay alert, think about your actions, remember to look both ways, exemplify cautious driving behaviors, eye contact is key, and turn down your iPod. The second word about campaign is smart, and smart stands for step in the crosswalk for the right-of-way, mindful of surroundings, always drive and walk with caution, reduce your speed in populated areas, and take the initiative and use signals.
Yeah.
That's so funny. None of them are. This guy's just running. You don't see my face? Yeah, do it.
Now I'm going to demonstrate to you how to properly cross the street and to remember to be street smart. Stay alert, turn down iPods, remember to look both ways when crossing. Always be cautious and mindful of your surroundings when crossing the street. I'm using a crosswalk. There. Easy and simple. These rules might be elementary, but they do help save lives. So don't forget to cross the street smartly and remember to stay street smart.
I think it's hard not to think about your safety when you're walking around the UConn campus, given the recent incidents that we've had. Certainly, with your campaign and the opportunity to promote street smarts, we hope that not only it's individuals like ourselves, but everybody becomes more aware. And I think when you have a situation where an entire campus is more concerned and involved in being street smart, we'll promote an overall sense of community and everybody will buy into the idea.
I think I'm thinking about safety sometimes. It depends, like if I'm crossing the road or about to cross the road, then you think about safety more. But if you're just kind of in a hurry, just running across the road trying to get to class, then you don't really think about it all that much because you kind of just assume that cars are going to stop for you.
Yes, I know how crazy the drivers are here, so I'm always thinking about it when I cross the road. I always look both ways, sometimes a couple times, and I'll even yield to cars sometimes because you just never know. It's always going to be safe.
To be honest, no, I'm not thinking about my safety when I walk on campus because I am guilty of what most pedestrians on campus are, and that's like this feeling of safety when you're on campus. You just think that everyone's supposed to stop for you, and that's the mindset of the UConn student.
Sometimes, occasionally, but if I need to get across the street right here, I'm not gonna walk in a huge circle just to get across the street. So most of the time, but not all the time.
That depends. If there's a lot of traffic, I will use the crosswalks, but if I happen to look both ways and don't see any cars or there's not a lot of traffic, I'll kind of just cross whenever.
It really depends on the crosswalk and it depends on the time of day. If it's really late at night and I know it's not a populated area, then I'm pretty sure it's safe to cross, but during the day when I know that it's busy, I look both ways and then I check out the situation before I step into a crosswalk.
My iPod's pretty loud when I walk across campus, and I don't really adjust it when I'm crossing the street, and I usually have it in whenever I'm walking to class or walking around.
Sorry. I got the noise canceling one, so I can't hear nothing at all. But, you know, look around a lot more when I have my iPod on, so I don't really hear anything, but the eyes are good. 2020.
Every time I have my iPod in, it's on full blast. I love my music, and when I cross streets, it doesn't go down.
I like to think that I look both ways when I use the crosswalk, and I certainly make an effort to. So I'd answer this question generally less, but I think like most of us, we could all make some slight improvements to our day-to-day pedestrian behavior to be more street smart.
Well, since I'm so street smart, like, I know there's some situations where I do have to check. Like on one-way streets, I don't really have to because I'm street smart. So I was like, I only need to look to the right. But in other situations, sometimes you gotta, duck your head back and forth. But most of the time, I have peripherals. But I'm usually good most of the time. Not all the time. Sometimes people will walk out and stop and go back. Like, make a decision and stick to it. You don't want to play chicken with a car, so that's just something that people should really pick up on.
What really bothers me about pedestrians on campus is they really aren't aware, and they really do have like this sense of entitlement that you can just walk out anywhere you want and somebody's going to stop for you. And as a bus driver, it's a big vehicle. It's a 30-ton vehicle. It's not that easy to stop. And if somebody's going to jump out in front of your bus, it's very, very dangerous. I'd like them to be more aware and really think about it before they cross the street. I've had multiple instances where I've come close and there was nothing I could do in my power to, but luckily I didn't have something like what happened with the tragedy, but it's come close many times, and it's because the pedestrians on campus really aren't aware of what they're doing.
I know it's also we get out at night, late at night, and you'd be surprised how many students you see jaywalking with completely dressed in black clothes, and you literally cannot see them from a far distance until you get right up close. So if you have a student or a person that's texting while driving, they're just not going to see them.
During the winter, you have to be very careful of snowbanks. People just jump out from behind snowbanks. They're not visible to the drivers. Also on Route 195, Stores Road, it's different rules over there. Cars going much faster. I think people forget altogether that really that the speed limit's not 25 there, and they tend to walk out in the crosswalks when cars are going much faster.
Every time I drive past McMahon, people never know what the general rules are. Like people walk halfway out, stop, and wait for you to go, even though they're already in the road. So I don't know why they do that. Or they'll just stand there. You'll start driving, then they'll take off and jump in front of the car. So McMahon, get it together, please.
I believe that the rules that you're talking about are things that are already suggested, but if there was a way to enforce these rules, then I definitely think that it would save lives on campus and make people more aware of their surroundings.
I feel that for the most part, many of the UConn students and faculty are aware of the rules. The way that I would see it is I just wonder if we always apply our knowledge of the rules in all situations. I am guilty of it, as many of us are, crossing where there aren't crosswalks, maybe not always looking, maybe not stopping for somebody in the crosswalk. I think that one of the things we need to do is become more aware of the rules and oblige to them more, actually participate in the rules and not just assume the cars are going to stop for us, not just assume that as a pedestrian that the cars can always see us. Paying attention to certain situations like when it's dawn or dusk or if it's raining out, situations where it might be hard to see pedestrians. Pedestrians also need to become aware of what they look like to the driver and whether or not they can be seen in the crosswalk. So I don't think it's a matter of us knowing the rules. I think it's a matter of UConn as a community actually applying and obliging to the rules that will make the difference.
I pledge not to be blind and to be street smart.
I pledge to not be blind and be street smart.
I pledge not to be blind and to be street smart.
I pledge not to be blind and to be street
I
smart.
pledge not to be blind and to be street smart.
I pledge not to be blind and to be street smart.
I pledge not to be blind and to be street smart.
Pledge not to be blind and to be street smart.
I pledge not to be blind and to be street smart.
Pledge not to be blind, and I pledge to be street smart.
I pledge not to be blind and street smart.
I pledge not to be blind and to be street smart. Really, really street smarts. Like I have a tattoo on my chest that says street smarts, but I can't show you because it's PG class. But remember, be street smarts.